Southeast Asia. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has condemned the Zionist army bombing of Palestinians, including children, during humanitarian aid distribution in the Gaza Strip, calling it unacceptable. And the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has said that the number of children suffering from severe malnutrition in North Darfur, a state in Western Sudan ravaged by fighting, has doubled since 2024. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail from Radio Algeria International. First, the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the National Community Abroad and African Affairs Ahmed Attaf held bilateral talks yesterday in Kuala Lumpur with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, Bui Thanh Son, on the sidelines of his participation in the ceremony marking Algeria's accession to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. According to a statement from the ministry, the meeting provided an opportunity to review various aspects of the traditional cooperation and friendship between Algeria and Vietnam and to examine ways of raising them to broader perspectives in the context of preparations for upcoming bilateral events. Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf also met in Kuala Lumpur with the Minister of International Relations of the Eastern Republic of Uruguay, Mario Lobictin, and earlier in the day with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, Bendito dos Santos Freitas. A delegation from the Algeria-Russia Parliamentary Friendship Group at the National People's Assembly has met with the Russian Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education, Konstantin Mikhailevsky, in Moscow, Russia, as part of talks with representatives from various Russian ministries, according to a statement issued by the lower house of parliament. During the meeting, which was attended by the Cultural Affairs Advisor at the Algerian Embassy in Moscow, Sonia Benmaza, the president of the Algerian-Russian Parliamentary Friendship Group, Abdelhamid or Abdeslam Bashaga, said that the purpose of the working visit to Russia was to take stock of the state of Algerian-Russian cooperation in the field of higher education and scientific research. The Sonatrach delegation take part in the 9th Forum of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, held on 9 and 10 July in Vienna, Austria, carried out intensive activities marked by a series of meetings with executives from several major international energy companies, the group said in a statement. In this context, the delegation led by Farid Jatou, Executive Vice President in charge of exploration and production, held talks with representatives of Chevron, OQ, Total Energies, Cepsa, British Petroleum, and the Libyan National Oil Company. The second session of the Algerian-Mauritanian Joint Security Commission has wound up in Algiers after discussions on ways to strengthen security and operational coordination between the two countries. In a speech delivered on this occasion, the Secretary General of the Ministry of the Interior, Local Authorities and Regional Planning, Mahmoud Jem'a, said that this meeting was an opportunity to continue and deepen consultations on the major changes taking place in the region, while allowing for a comprehensive assessment of what has been agreed upon previously and the opening of new prospects with a view to guaranteeing the security and stability of both countries. Saad Boughazi has more details in this report.
Mahmoud Jem'a said he was satisfied with the positive results achieved thanks to the spirit of consensus and understanding that prevailed during the proceedings of this meeting. Stressing the importance of the Algerian-Mauritanian border post, Mr. Jem'a announced that it had been agreed to set up a border coordination mechanism co-chaired by both parties, which will hold its first meeting in the last quarter of this year. He also welcomed the agreed decision to facilitate customs procedures for Algerian traders at the Mauritanian border post located near its Algerian counterpart, thus avoiding the need to travel to Zouirat. As regards illegal migration, the two parties agreed to strengthen consultation and coordination in the fight against networks operating in this area, as well as the exchange of information on their members and activities, the Secretary General added. As for the issue of drugs, the two parties agreed to organize a coordination meeting in mid-September in Nouakchott with a view to creating a coordination and monitoring mechanism. In addition, Mahmoud Jem'a expressed Algeria's willingness to support Mauritania in training and exchange of expertise while offering to share its experience in the field of local management and development, welcoming the proposal to train Mauritanian local officials in the areas of development, local governance, administrative modernization, and country planning. For his part, the Secretary General of the Mauritanian Ministry of Interior Promotion of Decentralization and Local Development, Abdelrahman Oud El Hassan, highlighted the convergence of views between the two countries on issues relating to regional security. He stated that this session provided an opportunity to assess the implementation of the conclusions of the first session of the Joint Security Commission held in Nouakchott in January 2023, as well as to examine other areas related to assessing the security situation at the regional level and in the border area, combating organized crime in all its forms, trafficking in drugs and psychotropic substances, as well as coordinating actions at the border crossing and combating illegal migration.
And the 47th session of the Executive Council of the African Union kicked off yesterday in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, and will last for 2 days. The agenda of this ministerial session focuses on reviewing several financial and administrative issues related to the internal management of the AU, as well as issues related to partnerships established by the Continental Organization with various international actors, in addition to continuing the activate mechanisms for joint African action and preparing for upcoming deadlines at the continental and international levels. Saad Bougazi has more details.
The agenda of the 47th session of the AU Executive Council includes several important issues and matters concerning joint African action, such as the review of reports on the activities of the Continental Organization and its various bodies, as well as the election of the AU Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology and the AU Commissioner for Trade and Industry. Representing the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attab, the Algerian delegation is led by the Ambassador of Algeria to Addis Ababa and his permanent representative to the AU, Mohamed Khalid. The Algerian delegation focused on the main issues under discussion and stressed notably the importance of rationalizing expenditure and reducing the waste of financial resources by readjusting the AU's priorities and financing its projects in line with current challenges and the strategic objectives of the ambitious Agenda 2063, notably those included in the second 10-year implementation plan for the agenda. It also underlined the importance of partnerships and the multilateral approach, which are being implemented notably through recent partnership meetings such as the third ministerial meeting between the AU and the European Union, as well as those currently being prepared, such as the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 9, and the 7th AU-EU Summit scheduled for this year, working to strengthen unity and reject exclusion. The Algerian delegation reiterated its commitment to the AU's theme for 2025 entitled Justice for Africans and People of African Descent Through Reparations, which provides a timely opportunity to intensify collective efforts to redress historical injustices and bring Africa's voice to international forums. Following this ministerial meeting, the 7th Coordination Summit between the AU, the regional economic communities, and the regional mechanisms will be held on Sunday.
Shifting now to the Middle East, where the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has called on the United States to lift its sanctions against Francesca Albanese, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in the occupied Palestinian territories, accused of legal warfare. In a statement to the press, Volker Turk said that attacks and threats against special procedures, mandate holders, as well as against key institutions such as the International Criminal Court (ICC) must stop. He recalled in this respect that UN special rapporteurs, as well as other actors in the human rights ecosystem, address, by their very nature, sensitive and often decisive issues that are of international concern. The Palestinian National Council, PNC, has called for immediate international action to protect Palestinian journalists and to put an end to the mistreatment inflicted on them by the Zionist entity. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has condemned the Zionist army bombing of Palestinians, including children, during a humanitarian aid distribution in the Gaza Strip, calling it unacceptable. We are appalled by the deaths of 15 Palestinians, including 9 children and 4 women, who were queuing to receive food for children in Dar el-Balah in the Gaza Strip on Thursday morning. 30 others were reportedly injured, including 19 children, said UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russell in a statement today, stating that the aid was provided by Project Hope, a partner organization of UNICEF. The families in desperate need. Catherine Russell underlined that the bombing of families trying to access vital aid is unacceptable. The United Nations Children Fund UNICEF has said that the number of children suffering from severe malnutrition in North Darfur, a state in Western Sudan ravaged by fighting, has doubled since 2024. Since April 2023, Sudan has been the scene of a conflict between the army and the Rapid Support Forces RSF, which has left tens of thousands dead and displaced millions of people, causing an unprecedented humanitarian crisis. More in this report with our colleague Said Bougazi.
In a statement released today, UNICEF said that more than 40,000 children suffering from severe acute malnutrition in North Darfur had received treatment between January and May this year, double the figure recorded for the same period in 2024. UNICEF representative in Sudan, Sheldon Yett, said that the children of Darfur are starving because of the ongoing conflict and cut off from the aid that could save them. Across the 5 states of the vast Darfur region, cases of severe acute malnutrition increased by 46% in the first 5 months of the year compared to the same period in 2024. The United Nations reported this week that nearly 40% of children under 5 in El Fasher were suffering from acute malnutrition, including 11% from severe acute malnutrition. UNICEF also reported significant increases in malnutrition in other areas recently affected by fighting. Severe acute malnutrition increased by more than 70% in the neighboring state of North Kordofan, by 174% in the capital Khartoum, and nearly 7-fold in the central state of El Jazeera during the first 5 months of the year compared to the same period in 2024.
And finally, in the Western Sahara file, units of the Sahrawi People's Liberation Army SPLA has targeted near bases of the Moroccan occupation forces in the Daira sector, causing heavy human and material losses, according to a military statement issued by the SPLA Political Commissariat, reported by the Sahrawi Press Agency. The SPS added that the SPLA attacks are continuing, causing heavy human and material losses among the ranks of the Moroccan occupation army along the wall of Shaim, as well as in support bases, supply bases, and command posts. And with this, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Time now for a weekly program, starting with my colleague Hana Dalil, and this will be followed by another program by my colleague Aziza Gassi. As for me, I'll meet you again tomorrow for a fresh edition of our news bulletin. Until then, stay tuned to Radio Algeria International, and bye-bye for now.
Hello and welcome to Discover Algeria, a program in which we'll let you discover or know more about the Algerian heritage, to include history, traditions, popular beliefs, social ritual celebrations, as well as many aspects of the Algerians' life dating back to the Berber or Amazigh era